Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, welcome to TPIM. That's our live. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. Today in the studio, we have a very special guest, one who has been known to the studio for since the inception of this YouTube journey. I give y'all Dimebag Darley, the co-host of the Other Morning Show.
What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, one person popped in already. What's up? We're back at it again. This is the title of the show, by the way, is the Other Morning Show hyphen or whatever, TPIMSR Live, because we have both put in a lot of work. Random BS. Check out his channel, Dimebag. Well, no, Truth Be Told now is your channel, right?
Yeah, I had to change the name for legal purposes.
Gotcha. And Brother Marty, peace and power. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about some things. I want to talk about the new pandemic, Dimebag. I want to talk about Wuhan, or whatever. Do you know what that city is really known for? Wuhan.
I never even heard of that city, to be honest.
Man, let me do that. Let me do this keyboard magic. Hold on one second. And I want everybody in the chat room, if you brought your Googles today with you, like this is church, please turn to the page of Wuhan and let's see what it says. Brother Jay, welcome to the show. What is Wuhan, China known for? Okay. Wuhan used to be known as the city of cherry blossoms, an economic engine of Central Heartland. All right. You all know that we were been in a trade war with China. The moment the economic traditional heartland of China was infected by this coronavirus, and there has been YouTube videos that showed certain persons going through the Chinese market. All right. Now, we all know the Chinese market. They have rats, they have cats, they have dogs, they have snails, they have squirrels, they have snakes, they have blood and guts and all this stuff mixed in. And you know how much certain people love them dogs. Do you see, and I'm just throwing this out there, as a hypothetical, if certain agencies, say, had an aerosol version of any type of virus, could they not go through that open market and squirt, skeet, squirt. And it has go ahead.
In my most humblest opinion, I think that coronavirus is just an experiment.
But by who's but by which government? Which government do you think? Is it a Chinese experiment going bad, or is it a foreign powers? Let's just use these broad, ambiguous terms for legal purposes. A foreign power.
I would say I would not be surprised if the United States and China was in cahoots with it.
Wow. Now you're talking about some working the bridge to basically colon the population or something like that, or
like how many people in China alone have been affected with this virus?
It's in the thousands.
Okay. So this is say 50,000 people in China. And China, we all know China has a population of probably 2 billion people.
Yeah, it's like 1.8.
People. What you said? What?
It's up there. 2 billion people. That's good enough.
Okay, so 50,000 people infected. It's not even noticeable for China.
Right.
But say it was 50,000 people infected here, people would be going crazy in the street. See, I think all it is, I just think all it is to see how people will respond and react and how brainwashed they are.
Now,
because a lot of people just think a lot of people just been going on with their normal daily lives.
Yeah.
Besides the usual stupid people like pouring out their Corona beer, stuff like that.
Pouring out.
But if 10,000 people got affected in the United States from this coronavirus, it would be mass hysteria. It should be, but are we conditioned enough to where we won't even pay no mind?
So
I think a lot of this stuff is just to see how people will respond.
And what do you think the response is by the people? What do you think the powers that be? What do you think they're drawing off the people's response?
That we can probably kill thousands of people before anybody say anything.
And that's a scary thought. That should be a terrifying thought to the average person. I just saw this popped up. Let's segue to Bernie Sanders and Buttigieg. Now, is it true that Buttigieg, the Mayor Pete guy or whoever, he advocates pedophilia?
To be honest, I haven't even followed like what's really, really going on in the Democratic Party lately, because after 2016, I was pretty much just done. But I was just to pique my curiosity, I was checking out stuff. I don't really know what Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name is actually really stands for. I know when I looked him up, I know he gets a lot of money from corporations.
No,
so that right there should tell you something right there. But from what I seen from last night for us with the Iowa caucus, that the DNC, Democratic Party, is back at their same old shenanigans.
Well, let's talk about Bernie Sanders for 1 second. You know that
okay.
TPIM SR Live is a pro-reparations channel. We believe that every decent human being would want to see other human beings being economically viable. And we know that a segment of America, or United States of America, has systematically and traditionally been economically oppressed. And I think reparations is a great way to repair and reconcile that situation on a national level. Now, pertaining to Bernie Sanders, what is your opinion that he is pro reparations for Jews? And I want to remind the audience, especially the younger ones, during World War II, the United States of America did not kill any Jews. So therefore, we should not have to pay reparations to Israel or Jews or anything of that nature, because the people that we're actually dealing with are genetically not the people who are in the Bible. And blood does mean something. So
the way the reparations, the way the reparations, excuse me, I'm a little under the weather.
Hey, flu is real, brother. I know. Flu, just take your time, get a drink, take your time. A lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are in pain.
But the way the reparations is set up for the Jews, they'll be paid reparations forever because their descendants are entitled to reparations. So, like when Bernie Sanders was asked about reparations for American descendants of slaves, he flat out said that wasn't feasible. But if you ask him about reparations for with the Jews, the Japanese Americans that were put in the American versions of concentration camps and stuff, then that was no problem to give them reparations. See, this whole country is founded upon the oppression of American descendants of slaves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this country can't function right if those people in this country is made whole.
What? Repeat that, please, for the uninitiated. Repeat that.
This country will not be able to properly function if those people was made whole.
Do you get it now, guys?
Everybody that come over to this country is put in better situations than the people that actually built the economic foundation of this country.
Exactly. Right off the boat or the plane. They are given tax breaks. They are given low interest loans. They're given grants. They're given scholarship opportunities. They're given Pell Grants. They're given everything that you, brother and sister, you who have been systematically redlined, even today, those living in highly melanated zip codes pay higher insurance premiums and lower payouts. You pay higher premiums and lower payouts today.
See, their whole goal is to basically starve us out until we no longer exist. Why do you think the Democratic Party was going so hard in the paint? Because Trump was putting illegal immigrants, people that came over here illegally, breaking the law, locking them up, putting them in dog kennels. You don't see the Democratic Party or the Congressional Black Caucus going hard in the paint for the ADOS communities, how terrible it is, the gentrification, you don't see them speak on any of that stuff. But you had some of these so-called prominent ADOS people in Congress, bitching and complaining, going a ham on Donald Trump about putting people that broke the law, locking them up, sending them back home. Because when they allow illegals to come over in this country, it directly affects ADOS people quicker than anybody else, quicker than any other group. It immediately affects the ADOS people.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
We're talking about competitions for jobs, meager social services. For many of you who actually try to receive social services, you probably noticed that your benefits have been going down over the past years, and that's because other population groups are being funded. So why bring in immigrants when you have a population natively born, able-bodied to work? The reason why is because companies who hire these people are making way more profit dealing with these folks than dealing with people who they will eventually have to pay a pension to, who they would have to take, get proper wages for, a decent standard of living. This is all an economic game. And if we don't start playing the game, well, honestly, it's really, quite frankly, it's probably too late. But, because 2050 is right around the corner. And everyone's telling you Social Security ain't going to be there. Black ownership of property is not going to be there. So keep on playing your game.
As ADOS people in this country, that means that for you to be ADOS, that means that your lineage can be traced back to the killing fields and the plantations of the American South.
North and West.
And basically, what I'm saying is that by the year 2050, we will be the only group of people in this country that has no wealth. That means we don't own no land, we don't have no money in the bank, we don't have anything, no financial wealth at all, anything that can be passed down to the next generation. We're going to be the only group that has none of that. It's ADOS people in this country own 2.5 of this country's wealth. Think about that.
I thought we own 0.5% of the nation's wealth.
No, it's 2.5. We own 2.5% of the nation's wealth. And the majority of that 2.5 of the nation's wealth that ADOS people own are owned by baby boomers. And we know baby boomers are dying off. And they're not leaving anything to Gen Xers. They're not leaving nothing. So Gen Xers won't have any inheritance. So that means millennials and zennials will not have any inheritance from Gen Xers because they were left nothing. That's how you come up to 2050 when we own no wealth at all. We will have no wealth at all. None.
Now,
and without reparations, it's no way impossible. The way the system is set up, without reparations, it's no way we're going to be able to combat that.
Right.
Without reparations. Our community are smoldering craters.
And is this by design, or is this because the people living in these communities or neighborhoods are basically debased people?
I would say it's probably a combination of both.
Can you explain a little bit for the uninitiated?
Well, when, you know, in the 50s and 60s, you know, when, you know, black men were, you know, basically literally the head of the household, and when they're being deprived of jobs, and you tell the women in those homes, well, we'll give you a home, we'll give you food assistance, but you got to get that man up out of the home.
Right.
So the man leaves. So now it's a woman in the home raising kids, and we all know when the father is not involved in the kid's life, shit, you get the Pookies and the Ray Ray. You know, that's fact.
Right.
They don't do. When you look at the schools in those communities, black boys don't graduate. Black boys that's in high school can't read past the 5th grade level. And it's all by design. You keep the men down, and you can go in there and conquer whatever you want if there's no men there to fight.
Right.
There's no men to protect the home, and that's why our communities are smoldering craters.
But we have to. Is there any way, Diamondback, do you think is there any way we can self-repair ourselves before it's too late? And if so, can you point us in that direction?
I would say and I'm not trying to be like mean or ignorant or anything, but in my eyes, from what I see, the black community is done. It's done.
So
it is. It's just done.
Faking it too, making it is the chickens are coming home to roost on that level. You're saying
they already roost. They already coming home. They're done. They're done. Look at the mentality and the behaviors. You know, like when black boys are born, those boys are born in this country. You know, they're literally born with basically just 2 options: death or prison.
Unless their people have a plan.
You know, that's all we're being born for is basically death and to put us in prison.
Yeah.
You know, we are the most, I would say, I wouldn't say I know for a fact, we are the most vulnerable group of people in this country. The 2 most protected groups of people in this country is white men and black women. The most vulnerable people in this
Explain that. Explain that dynamics.
Well, for one, we all know that wealthy white men run this country.
True. Correct.
And white men, since slavery, white men has been using black women to keep black men down.
And, you know, for those who don't know, that was to protect the black man because the woman was so scared. You go out, act a fool, be an alpha male in slavery is a death sentence.
If you don't have anything that you're willing to die for, why are you even living?
You know, we have to get to the point of self-repair. That's ultimately where we can talk about how we got to this situation. We can discuss in Amnesium how the system has systematically chopped people off at the kneecaps. But I want to take the higher world today. I want to talk, how can we do
that has to be done? We have to do something to help out these young ADOS boys. You just have to. I mean, on a large scale, because your community is only as strong as the men.
Correct.
And if your boys are being hung out to dry, we already see the results.
Well, let's bring up imagery so people can see this in mind's eye. You remember the story with the woman going into the Asian hair market and she was trying to buy weave extensions to have straight hair or whatever. and he beat her up because he really did beat her up. You know, so much for the strong, independent woman, but he beat her up and basically threw her out the store. And when brothers came up there to confront him, I mean, you can say that was wrong because they didn't know the woman. That was not in their place. The women's actually organized a counter protest, say, nah, we want our hair. We want to look good, because they're caught up in that image thing.
I've seen so many videos to where I seen a video where it was black men protesting an Asian beauty supply place. And instead of the women being pissed off at the Asians, they started attacking and cussing out the black men. And then I seen another one where an Asian had beat up a black woman. The black man goes in there, busted out all the windows and stuff, you know, telling them that we're not going to allow you to do this in our communities anymore. He goes to jail, gets out. A week later, he goes back to the same place, and it's full of black women in there getting their hair and nails done.
Because the beauty game is real, brother. The beauty game, the need for a woman to feel beautiful is quite real. And they will go to any extremes to fulfill that psychological desire and need. And we just have to accept that. And that's part of the self-healing process. If we're not honest about what's making us mentally click, if we're not completely honest amongst ourselves, of course. Now, you don't have to carry this out here into the streets, but amongst ourselves, we have to be completely honest. This is why you're spending hundreds of dollars on some woman's hair from around the world, or maybe even horse's hair. Who knows? Just to have this look that is not natural to you, like the natural hair that you naturally have when you wake up. You know, don't even comb that motherfucker. That is not acceptable.
It's all psychological. It's all psychologically. This stuff was programmed into Adolph's women since the time they was brought over here.
Right.
Because they used the women to keep the men in line, and they've been using that same tactic forever. Why you think why you think it's more educated Adolph's women than it is Adolph's men?
Well, that kind of goes back to the opportunities. And plus, we also know, and for those who are statisticians type people, like facts and figures, you do know that there are more females than there are men naturally, anyhow. So
yeah, it's over 2 million more Adolph's women than they are Adolph's men.
Yes,
in this country.
Yes, but to see the thing about it is that what you said about the mothers. See, this is because a lot of black families are actually, you know, it's about the woman, about grandma and all this stuff, okay? And all that power, all that feminine power is being focused and harnessed on the girls. So you got to get beautiful, you got to be, you know, looking good, so and have that confidence so that you can get basically not a man. Let's be honest, they don't want a man, they just want a breeding partner, someone that has the good hair and a nice little complexion, and oh, his nose isn't too big, you know. It's all, let's just be honest, it's all to get the African American phenotype to look more European. Now once that's achieved, then oh, they're beautiful.
And another thing is too, they raise the women to be strong and independent, and the boys to be weak and docile.
Right. But I just told you, what did I just tell you about the analogy that started this part of the conversation off? That Asian man whipped this so-called strong woman's ass. He whipped her ass like Joey Buttafuoco beating up that China chick. I mean, just knocking the shit out of her. And that is wrong. That is wrong for you to set your women up to go out there and do battle with a man. I'm sorry. You guys may be mad at me. If there's feminists listening to this program, you may be mad at me. But I'm telling you, sister, you're being set up to get messed up. And that's wrong. And men...
Think about it. I don't mean to tell y'all, think about it if the roles were reversed. If there were more educated Adolf men than women in this country. Think about the position that Adolph's families would be. We wouldn't be having a bunch of these spooky. I'm trying to refrain from cussing.
Exactly, me too.
You'll have more stable families.
Right, a more healthy, nurturing families, and that's a good thing.
Because when you look at when you see an adult man that's educated, it's most likely that guy's probably married. He's in the home with his kids, and everybody is doing a little bit better. But when you look at a single parent home that the head of the household is the mom, you see the results. You see them wearing skinny pants, carrying purses. They do be having guns in them purses.
You're talking about the boys.
The boys.
Oh,
this is what you see. This is what you see.
And
you see this all the time. Can't read on the 5th grade level. They can't do shit. They're basically useless.
But now I want to express this. It's okay not to read on the 5th grade level as long as you're in 4th, 3rd, 2nd, or 1st or kindergarten. That's okay not to read on 5th grade level. But if you're 5th grade and above, and you don't read. Let's say this, brother. Somebody comes up to you. I'm talking to the viewer now. Someone comes up to you, brother or sister, and they ask you, "Hey, what's the last book you read?" And you give them a blank stare. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. Go read a book. I know that, I've said things about books were somewhat bad because, if you read the wrong book, you're basically reading a lie and you're encouraging this lie to continue. But there's other types of books to read. You can read expository writings. Expository writings are actually factual writings, more scientific. Maybe a little, not a page turner, but the information is accurate on a scientific scale. Or maybe fiction.
Just start off with a dictionary.
Yes. Learn words before you can read words of others. Yes, absolutely. A dictionary, encyclopedia, thesaurus, any of those sources would be an ideal starting point.
Because I just look at it like until you fix the situation with black men and address the needs of adult, let me say adult men, because when I say black men, that means that could be for any. I'm talking about specifically American descendant of slaves. Their lineage can be traced back to the killing fields and the plantations of the American South. That group of men, boys, men, needs is so many pressing issues that needs to be addressed in that group alone. And I feel like if those issues can be addressed, then you'll start to be able to see a change in things. But until those issues are fixed, it's going to be business as usual. Because it's nothing more threatening than an educated black man.
But I would say, I dim that to say you're only threatened if you're a racist other man. If you're a racist other man, because if you're a non-racist other man, you want to see an intelligent black man because you can do business with this man and build a stronger society in general. But if you're not, if you're on that blood stuff and, oh, we got to have the pure stuff, then yeah, you are definitely terrified of an educated black man, because not only does he have. Go ahead.
Why you think like the few black men that's out here, why do you think like the educated and the ones that's got money, what the powers to be do is they put them in their circle.
Hold on. Then, one second. I don't mean to cut you off, but this popped up. This is from brother Chris out there. I have a white girl tell me I was dangerous. What do you think he's trying to say there when he says he had a white girl tell me I was dangerous?
You are dangerous. If you can critically think and use logic and reason, you are dangerous. That's a fact. That's one of the main reasons why they keep educated black men in white circles instead of in black circles, because they keep them in the white circles. He has everything that the white people got except the skin tone. So then when the people that look like him look at him, they think he's a sellout.
Right.
And so they hate him.
Right.
So he can't go back and give them game and knowledge and stuff that they need to build up the community. And that way the people in those poor, broken down communities don't follow behind this brother and chicks start, you know, in the right direction. It's all done by design.
Right. I love how you said that. I love how you totally laid that out. You know, you see the game now. You know, for the uninitiated, you should see the game now. You have educated brothers who have this knowledge, but because they don't fit this standard or whatever, oh, you a sellout, you're a coon, you're Uncle Tom, you're this, you're that. But what you are not going to be, you're not going to mentor me, you're not going to share your knowledge with my dumb ass so I can get into the game economically too. I'd rather sit there and call you names thinking I'm standing on something, but we're all still drowning in the water, y'all. Nobody's on the boat. Nobody's on the boat. You're not cargo, you're not crew, and you're damn sure not a captain. You're out in the water. It's time to jump on the boat.
It's like, okay, like we know the powers and the knowledge that this brother possesses. So we'll keep him close to us. He'll think he's one of us because he has just about everything that we have. So he's not going to see any color. And then the people that look like him is going to look at him like he sold them out. He's a sellout. He's a coon and all this other stuff. So now they're against him, and the people in his inner circle is against him. And that way, this group of people don't get educated in hip throwing game, and the people that got him in a circle to continue to rape, pillage, and abuse that group of people.
That's the game in a nutshell, y'all. This is the game, the economic game in a nutshell. Take our words and research this shit, and you will see the puzzle fits. The puzzle pieces all fit together. We can break this, though. We can break this, but we can only break it through unity. We can only break it through working together. Unity is our victory, and our victory is our respect and dignity. It truly is just this simple. I mean, how many more Dr. Kings, Malcolm X, Steve Garvey, W.W. Du Bois, how many more of these intellectual types do we need to come talking before we finally realize, okay, if we don't work together, if we don't somehow get value and confidence, you know, people are confident in us, in the society, then there's like bad things coming.
I know the power that Adolf Hitler possessed if we just work together. And I'm not saying that this don't want to work together, but you don't need the million, you need the right amount. Because everybody that's going where you going ain't gonna be able to go. So you can't really include everybody because everybody ain't going to have your best interest. And there's a lot of people out there that look like you, but they ain't got your best interest because their property off of you being poor.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
It's a lot of people out there that look like you that make money off of you being poor. And they'll tell you documentaries, they'll tell you stupid books,
right?
And tell you economic courses that don't work. They ain't got no evidence that it works. And they'll charge you thousands of dollars for this stuff, and you still stuck in the same place.
And this is all by design. They get rewarded. They may come at you as a friend. I'm gonna get you on this game, bro. You can be this, buy this book, buy this tape. But we all know at the end, a couple months down the road, the only thing you have is $40, $50, $80 missing out of your bank account and no tangible. And we really need to discuss this concept of tangibility, something that you can hold in your hand. Yep. It's good to be spiritually, things you can't see, taste, touch, or smell. But then it's also great because one of the best aphrodisiacs is being able to go up into your kitchen, you have food, being able to turn on the light switch, it works, being able to hit a shower that's warm. That's damn sexy. Now, you can sit there and play that guru shit if you want to, but when your lights are cut off, you have no money, that's a totally different ball game, and that will put you in a state of desperation, and you'll end up doing something stupid and going to jail.
That's why, like, when you ask these politicians, you know, what are they going to do? When you ask them about the LGBT XYZ community, they give you specific policies.
Yes.
When you ask them about these illegal immigrants, they give you specific policies. When you ask them about those people in this country, they give you platitudes. They throw in like people of color and all this other stuff. It's like people have to get off of this whole minority thing.
Right.
We have to. At this moment, we are literally by ourselves. Everything that needs to be advocated for ADOS people needs to be advocated for ADOS people alone. Nobody else. Look, everybody benefits off the civil rights era, the civil rights stuff, except for the people that fought for it.
Right. I guess a bloody nose and a broken back should be good enough payment, huh?
Everybody else benefits. You got illegal immigrants coming over here benefiting off of civil rights, and they ain't do shit. Everybody benefits off this country's wealth, and they get taxed. It's a problem when illegals get tangible, and the offspring and the ancestors that built this country's economic foundation, their generations of family kick shit. They don't get nothing. They have no tangible to anything.
That's where so many families are at, man. You know, I mean, I can throw this hypothetical because I'm all about creating that vision in your mind. Grandma and grandpa had that little business. They had that little corner, little corner market. The son and maybe 3 or 4 other brothers. After grandma and grandpa died, the uncles and aunts, they all squabbled over the store. None of them were capable of actually running the store because grandma and grandpa, they were good at running the business, but they were shit at making sure their kids wasn't placed in special education in public school system. So basically they end up being upper middle class black folks, but really psychologically they're not there. So that stuff gets wiped out. Then the uncles and aunts all have babies. Some of the aunts goes to like Section 8, government assistance. Some of the uncles just goes to jail or get murdered. And then that generation after that generation is totally whacked out. That's when you're having little boys run around in hot pants and purses, and little girls run around in baggy pants and, basically strap-ons in the pocket.
Yeah, we can talk for hours and hours about just the school system and black and adult boys. I mean, we can do a 2 to 3 hour show alone just talking about the school and the stuff that goes on in the schools.
Because one of the most vile perpetrators of the school system is the one who benefit the most from the civil rights initiative, and that would be the white female, the educated white female. She benefited the most. So therefore, when she has these racist attitudes, or let's say that a white female knows that another white person is abusing a black child and they don't report it. Let's say hypothetically, some white woman out there who's racist as racist can be adopts a black child, and they call this child the N-word. They say I only want this child because I always wanted to have my own slave, and they treat this child accordingly. And white people know that this person's doing this to this child and they don't report it. I think that is almost a form of racism in a way, because the good and well, if it was a black child or if it was black parents doing that to a white adopted child, they'll be quick to intervene.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So this goes back to the whole issues of reparation. If you're a decent so-called white, European, non-melanated, whatever you want to call yourself, if you're a decent human being and you don't recognize the economic damage that has been done specifically to the African descendant of slave population from the north to the east, to the west, to the south during the horrible genocidal years of slavery, and then followed up by decades of Jim Crow and systematic legal oppression, then can you really call yourself a decent person? Or can we just be honest? You're a person who supports white supremacy because it benefits you. Can we just be honest? And then maybe we can come to some sort of understanding?
I look at it like white people know what's going. White people know the history of their ancestors. Like they know this stuff. Like they know. But the simple fact that it's not really directly affecting them, and they know that they benefit off of that, they don't have any reason to really say anything. It's not like they don't know. But a lot of them are probably scared that they don't know how to compete because when you so used to stuff just being given to you, and now you got to compete. Who wants to even deal with that? If I ain't got to compete, why should I compete?
Well, if that's a fact, so Dimebag, then that means there's a fundamental problem. Then that means everybody who's thinking that the great white hope is going to come for issues on black folks is sadly mistaken. After what you just said, if what you said is 100% truthful, and we got to be truthful from now on, folks. We can't fake the funk. Let's be truthful. If what Dimebag just said is truthful, that means there's a fundamental problem. There is no working across the aisle on this political issue. I'm not talking about your personal life. I'm talking about in a merely economic, political sense of behavior amongst humans. Then that means that there will be no, I guess, great white awakening to where they're like, man, geez, if we made these people economically viable, hey, they may come into my shop and do business when my other people, won't. Because I have seen it. You give a black person money and they'll bypass a black business owner to spend that money with a white business owner. We should all understand.
Or they'll go looking for a discount. Like say it's a black business and a white business and they do the same thing.
Right.
Black people been so conditioned and fucked up. Well, they'll go into the black shop and expect to get a discount or a whole bunch of free shit. But they'll go into the white shop and pay exactly what they ask for, no discounts, none of that other bullshit.
And do you think that's because it's like almost not so much a moonchild system or syndrome where you fall in love with your captor, but almost like you're still like psychologically the slave. Yeah, how's the boss? Yeah, I'll pay you what you need, the boss. I'll get you all your money with interest, boss. But then when you're dealing with another melanated person, you're like, oh, N-word. Can't you give me the hookup and discount? It's like we're so quick to shortchange each other, but we're so quick to show the outsider, however you want to describe these individuals, that we're there for them 110%, like an old loyal dog. You know how you can beat the shit out of that old loyal dog and he'll just come wagging his tail with his head down, licking your feet, the jam out your toe and all that nasty stuff. Do you think that we exhibit that behavior?
We've been conditioned to patronize everybody else except us. Wow. We're gonna make everybody else rich. We're gonna make everybody else rich except ourselves.
Except for
we'll
ourselves.
Support everybody else's. We'll support everybody else's businesses and everything except our own.
Now, I want to say something right now.
It's not like as a group. It's not like it's not no money. No money. Look at the billions of dollars that's spent just coming from adult people in this country alone. We should have way more businesses and stuff than we have.
But we
don't. And then the ones that's able to actually create businesses and to find a way to get the money to support a business, we don't support them.
Nope.
We want a discount. I can't get a discount from you, then I'm just going to spend my money over here with the Arab or with the Asian or with the white man. Because we weren't going to give me a discount at this shop.
Or do you think
the
it's
white
also
man going to give you a discount at his either, but you don't spend your money there?
When you say it like that, it's almost like a perverted crab in a bucket scenario. It's like, I know you're a business owner, you're doing your thing, you're trying to make something, but I really secretly don't want you to succeed. I want, I'm cool with Kobe Bryant, I'm cool with Oprah Winfrey, I'm cool with Steve Harvey, I'm cool with all of them succeeding, but the black business owner that I know, I secretly, I don't want you to succeed. I think there's some of that really going down. I don't think it's so much secret now.
It is. We love to hate people that look like us. Instead of when you see black people striving and doing good things, the majority of black people turn down.
Yep.
They turn down.
Yes,
they completely turn down.
You know, I want to say this right now, and hopefully this reaches the correct ear right now. If you are on someone else's side fighting for them, who's on your side fighting for you?
You never see any other ethnicity group going hard in the paint for ADOS people. But they always want ADOS people to go hard in the paint for them.
Wow. Hold on.
And then we left.
I got a not a message, but from the chatter. This comes from PJ Jones. Actually, we have businesses, and they're called the black churches. Church should not be a business in the sense that me and Dimebag are talking about. Church should not. That's not a business. What we're talking about. We're talking about a secular, basically. Okay, let's put it this way. Most black businesses.
No, put the black church in there because it's the black church. The black church. The one thing the black church has been doing for decades in this country is robbing money from the most poor, vulnerable black people in this country. That's all they've done. When you look at these black churches in the communities that they're in, everything around is raggedy as fuck.
Including the church oftentimes.
Run the fuck down. The fucking preacher or whoever's in charge of the damn church, he's living out there with the white folks. He's driving nice ass fucking cars. And then on Sundays, he's going down taking money from the poorest of the poor.
Right.
Selling them bullshit. And I'm just being honest. If you look at what has the black church done for black people? Nothing. They've done nothing.
Well, some would argue they have saved certain people's souls, the people who believe, and when they pass on, they go to glory. Ultimately, that's the only thing they can come back with. But my question is, what damage has they done? If they haven't done nothing positive, have they done anything negative?
They've done a lot of things negative, and from my perspective, they have. I haven't seen anything good come out of the black church. Like, I'm just being honest.
One thing, at least about the black church, you very seldom hear about pedophilia. Now you hear about the preacher, hitting the choir director that, could be a chick or could be a man. But you don't hear about black churches, the pedophilia thing like you do in the Catholic Church, which is primarily, let's just be honest, quote unquote, non-melanated church.
Because as a whole, we don't do shit like that. We might, the black preacher might, fuck a few of the single moms in there, but he ain't really touching the kids. Now, am I saying all of them don't? No, but the vast majority, because I'm speaking as a whole, the vast majority don't do sick shit like that with boys, like messing with kids.
But now they will mess with your bank account. They will put that psychological. Now, sister, now you know that parsonage needs a new roof. Now I know you just got that settlement from that, whatever.
Why do you think the majority of these churches are filled with just women? The majority of the black churches members are all female.
What?
All female.
You can't argue that, folks. Anybody that visited a black church from, say, the 80s till present, you will see a disproportionate amount of females. But one could argue that some of the men may be dead or old or whatever. But yeah, there's a disproportionate amount of females and children. Children, male and female.
And you got one guy with them, talking, he seems as like he would say the male lion of the crowd. All the other females are looking up to him because that's their only source of real black masculinity. Even though he's up there, chucking his guys and selling them false hope and all this other stuff, instead of being real with these people, being honest.
And that's tough. I mean, this is a tough conversation because there's going to be so many people that hear this in playback and they're like, that's not true. But if you stop and analyze, just don't allow your emotions to reject what you hear. Actually analyze and look at it across the board. Look at it now. Your preacher may absolutely. He may not want you to tithe so hard, and he may actually help you with your bills or whatever. But is that the behavior of preachers across the board? And I think unequivocally, when we have the resources and we utilize all the information that we can ascertain through articles, newspapers. Now, once again, we should understand newspapers don't typically write happy stories. So take that into account when you're doing your research, especially when you're using.
Ain't no money in happy stories.
No, there's not. There's only money in sensationalized emotional stories. And to add to what Dimebag was talking about, why do you find so many women in church? For one, it's an emotional situation. It's not spiritual so much. If you can get those emotions flowing, then you can get those money coming out of the purse and into the plate, coming out of the wallet and into the plate. Now, if you can really get the emotions going, then you can actually tell people, I need someone to get up here in this $10,000 line. I need a brother over here in the $3,000 line. Now, don't even get out your seat unless you're willing to commit, and you will get blessed. And then the people will come out and they'll show out. See, that feeds the whole thing. You have people, I'm so good. Look how much money I got. And then the guy's so slick, he'll be like, now, all you brothers and sisters who don't have no money, or he won't say that, of course. All you little brothers and sisters who aren't in these, haven't been blessed yet, give me that dollar and start your blessing today. Put that dollar in the plate, and when you come back next week, you'll have a 10. You know what I'm saying? That's how they feed off into that.
Only thing you're going to be blessed with is a house or apartment with no electricity or heat for that month.
But that's something to pray for, Brother Dimebag. Sometimes you have to be down before you know the power of prayer. Now, what's your credit card number again? Come on. It's just it's so diabolical at this point to where we better recognize if you're looking for spiritual fulfillment, if that's a need, if that's a sincere need of yours, you might want to first start with self. And then once you conclude what you need to conclude, you can share that with others who are like-minded. But if you just go up there talking about you're going to be trained or indoctrinated in some sort of system of religion or system of spirituality, brothers and sisters, unless you're on the in crowd in that game, you are going to be taken advantage of, because someone always has something to gain in the religious con, but that person will not be you, unfortunately.
So, I mean, to go back on, well, it's the black church of business, I would say, yeah, it is a business, but it's a predatory business.
Like a payday loan in many ways?
Yeah, basically. It's a predatory business. It's not bringing you even real tangibles at all. It's not giving you anything that you can build off of.
Now, this is for any minister or father or rabbi or imam or bishop or whatever listening. This is a great opportunity to prove us wrong. This is a great opportunity to go back to your church, your temple, your storefront, your warehouse, wherever you're doing your thing, and prove us wrong. Start treating the people right. Start taking that collection money and finding the brightest members of your church, and don't let them go to the bank. You loan them that money so they can open up a business, so that they can start generating residual income and start building the community. Now, as long as you do that, I'll shut up on this issue. I'll have nothing to say. But as long as things are going down the way they're going down, it's your duty to speak up, because if we do not have these conversations, then by default, you're just rubber stamping other brothers and sisters being victimized by this predator. Because a lot of preachers, and I'm just being honest, a lot of preachers are not concerned with yourself. They're concerned with what you have to better their life and how is the quickest way to get it out of Brother Dimebag's hand, out of Brother TruePowerIsMine's hands, and into his hand. That's what they're all about. And we got to understand we can no longer go down this road of make believe. We're off to see the wizard. No, we got to get out the whole damn production. You know, get back your little dancing shoes. Speaking of dancing shoes, what is your opinion of the brother, the black man that was, he went to the Grammys in a dress and he wore the same dress on Sesame Street, you know, hugging up on Elmo? What is your opinion on that?
All it is just more conditioning to condition black males that it's all right to be feminine.
Wait, you don't think he was strong and brave to wear a beard and a dress? You don't think that was a powerful statement?
No, because he probably was compensated for doing
it. Do you think that that's something that young boys let me throw this hypothetical out there. We have a daycare center. It has let's say 10 boys in it. 2 are Asian, 3 are Mexican, 4 are black, and the rest are white. For those 4 black boys to be sitting there watching this episode of Sesame Street, where you see old boy come out there in a dress, do you think those other little kids would look at the black boys and kind of snicker? You know, my daddy would never wear a dress. That looks like Jerome's daddy. Do you think that could possibly happen?
Yeah, that's why they do that stuff, because you get them. If you get them before the age of reasoning, then you can condition them to be a certain way.
Right. So now they're conditioning our boys to be effeminate, not a warrior. And let's be honest. And I know a lot of women may not want to hear this, but in the man's world, you have to fight. There is no, I'm just going to hope that the next guy won't knock me over the head and take my shit. You have to fight as a man. There is no, and men, for those who understand it, you're going to be sitting there yelling and cheering, like truth, speaking truth. Those who don't understand it, you're going to be ashamed and you're going to be humiliated by this fact. If you do not want to fight, then don't bitch for what you get coming. Don't bitch for not achieving things. You have to get out there. And you have to put in work.
Why you think every time they bring out a new female article of clothing they want men to wear, they put it on a black man and put it out there? Yes. They put it on the black man first.
Yes. I mean, let's look at gangster rap. It's gotten so bad to where gangster the gangster mindset is supposed to be what we're basically installed with. Like many people, I worked in the lawn care industry for a while, and many people would make condescending jokes about Mexicans. They were born with a weed eater and a lawnmower out the womb, because there's so many of them doing that job. That's their image. Their image is one of they're hard workers, whereas black man's image is one of laziness, no responsibility, and not able to maintain or manage his affairs without outside help. That's why you have to put on a dress and be a bitch. And that's
the only way they go. That's the only image they're gonna show you of us is a feminized one. They're not gonna show you any kind of images of masculine black men. Correct. They're not gonna do that.
And this is a part of the propaganda game. Goebbels did it with the Jews. And I don't understand, Dimebag, why is it so easy for us to understand? Okay, we know that Goebbels and the Nazi party actually engaged in propaganda for years before the final solution was implemented. How come people don't see the correlations between let's just be real, the plight of the ADOS community in respects to mainstream media character assassinating our collective image? It has shit to do with you individually. This is our collective image that you cannot divorce yourself from.
Because this country can only survive by oppressing us.
Say it one more time.
This country can only survive by oppressing us.
Let the choir sing. As the choir sings, the collection plate, which is the super chat, will be passed around. If you brothers and sisters want to contribute to the money, contribute with the money to the show so we can continue bringing these powerful programs, please hit the super chat button now as the choir hums. I'm just playing, yeah. But for real, if you can give. If you can't, just enjoy the program. Please share this information with other people, because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to make this thing right is if we get the economic viability tools, which includes reparations. It also includes free scholarships for those who mentally okay, let me clarify this. Free scholarships for those who mentally are able to achieve in whatever arena they're going to go to college for. But we also have to set up some sort of vanguard for young boys and girls so that they don't get railroaded in these rural and suburb schools and even inner city schools into special education programs that will basically keep them dumbed down. Thank you, American Aboriginal. Peace and power. You know, this is what we are up against. And if we don't recognize this, sisters, if we don't recognize this, brother, if we don't see that, if we don't work together, we are all still going to burn together. Because the trains, and I've said it so many times, and I'm going to say it all the way, the trains are being prepared. The track has been laid, and the destination is nothing nice. And trust me, an 18-year-old melanated hating young man or woman will have zero problem stuffing a person that they perceive to be a burden and a debt to society into said situation. There will be no problem doing that. And history has proven those words to be true. Look at Dachau, Auschwitz, and the other 46 concentration camps set up by the Nazi regime throughout Eastern Europe and in Germany and in France, and all occupied Nazi territories.
No. Well, I can say for a fact that economic genocide on those people in this country is in full effect.
Yes. But see, people don't want to hear that, Dimebag, because they're like, you know what? You guys are lying. You know, I got a 401k, guys. I take trips to Mount Rushmore every other year. You know, I can eat my tapioca pudding while dangling my big toe in the pond. Okay, that's great for you, brother. I'm happy. Seriously, I'm happy for you. But don't you understand? You're just the exception to the rule. Really.
And as a group too, we got to stop seeing ourselves through these black celebrities too. We just have to.
What you mean,
they're not a representation of what the average ADOS people go through in this country.
Heck no. I mean, even with Kobe Bryant and the horrible tragedy that befalled him. But you do realize there were other people on that boat there, or the helicopter that went down.
Yeah, with 7 other people, wasn't it? Was it 7 other people?
Yeah, something like that. All right. But even that, I've literally saw the YouTube where Kobe's saying, I'm not black, I'm Italian. You know, we got to understand, man, many of the so-called black celebrities like Whoopi Goldberg, you know, she's not a fan of you and me. You know what I mean? She probably
Whoopi Goldberg hates black men.
Right. That's why she was letting that one dude off of Cheers go have blackface on and smack, you know, because apparently he was dicking her down for a while. You know, he probably jizzed all on her face. He'd probably be like, hey, I want you to put on this Aunt Jemima outfit and you come in here, yowza boss. And then she did. Because she, she took the name of a small hat, or on the show we call him small sombrero. You know what I'm saying? And, she ain't no Goldberg. Now, she might actually truly be a real Israelite. That's a fucked up thing about it. Whoopi Goldberg could sincerely be a true Israelite in the genetic sense of the word, but she chooses to take the persona of the small hat. And that's what's so crazy.
Black women have been conditioned and given trinkets to give them the illusion that they're better than the men.
Right. You saw that way back on Star Trek. Think about it. Star Trek, you have seen that one show, there was a black captain. He was on a little space station, but he was more or less like a cosmic janitor. They put him over there by this wormhole. Now you sit here and watch this boy, sort of like the first person to die in any type of invasion would have been that little space station. But when we talk about the USS Enterprise, especially the old show, you remember Captain Kirk, little blue eyes, and Lahora. And the main thing was he was able to kiss her. It ain't never been no thing for a white boy to kiss a black woman. The real kicker is when the black man kisses the white woman. That's the problem. In fact, people will be like, sister, I understand you got to come up. The white boy got the money. He got the resources. He can get you a little prestige or status. You can be a big mama fucking with him, but you fuck with Jerome down there now, yeah. See, this is the mindset we have to get up out of. We have to get up no matter who, once again, like I said before, no matter who you think you are, you cannot divorce yourself from our collective image. You could be dating a Chinese like Red Fox. You can be dating a white girl like whoever. You can do whatever, but you are still a black individual who is constantly being judged and criticized by accepted standards of black so-called behavior. And the standards that have been set for us, the bar is set so doggone low that if you're just a normal, black man who wants to work, support himself, support his people, then you're going to look to be an exception to the rule, not the norm. Because norm, you're supposed to run out the house, howling at your side chick, maybe go over there and do some drinking in the park, and then go over there and smoke some crack, and then come back home to your main chick, and you do this old crazy bullshit all day long. That should be the exception.
Chick, you gotta go rob and kill it too.
Yeah, because for one thing, and here's the truth: unless you have money, you don't have no side chicks. You're just basically a living dildo for a bunch of broke bitches. That's all you are. You'll just be a living, walking dildo. You'll be a life support for a dildo, which is your sexual organ, for a bunch of broke chicks. Because there's pimping, and then there's popcorn pimping, and then there's spiritual pimping, poverty pimping with the preachers. And a lot of these brothers run around here claiming to be pimps. They're popcorn pimping. Like, oh, well, what you get out of her, brother? Oh, I got me a Snickers candy bar, and she gave me some fellatio. Okay, so what about your lights? Oh, they still cut off. Okay, well, what about your car? It's over there at the shop. Stop faking it until you make it. Be honest with yourself. Admit that you have been damaged by the system. Admit that you have been damaged by this world. And by being honest, now you can start the process of real, fundamental, tangible self-repair. And this is where we all, brothers and sisters, ultimately want to be at.
And I'm going to throw out something for the men in the audience. Go buy the book, The Man Not, by Dr. Tommy Curry. Go buy that book. You might have to wait a couple of weeks to go get you some new J's or something like that. But buy that book and read that book, and it will explain to you why black men in this country are perceived in the way they are. The book is called The Man Not by Dr. Tommy Curry. Read that book.
This is what I'm saying, y'all. If it wasn't for people who actually think outside the box and the internet in general, that if you think outside the box, you will actually research and find information counter to what the big media companies shovel out to us. we can actually, I believe, self-repair ourselves, get to a point to where collectively, not once again, it's just not individually talking, it's a collective thing. We either come up together or we stay down together, with a few trickling through the border there. But if the majority of us wants to get to a point of economic viability, we have to go to the Black Caucus and demand every member of the Black Caucus picks up the banner of reparations for descendants of slaves in North America in perpetuity. In perpetuity. Because this thing has been going on so long now that just giving it to one generation ain't good enough. Just giving it to two generations ain't good enough. And this ain't no Amway quick start. It just don't go 3 generations deep.
No.
It should go in perpetuity.
And I'm gonna touch on that fraud of the Congressional Black Caucus. Everybody in the Congressional Black Caucus ain't ADOS neither.
No, a lot of them, brother, don't mean to cut you off. They're transformers. They're LGBT Skittle Rainbow crowd in disguise. They're LGBT Skittle Rainbow crowd in disguise, but they front like they're for you and me.
Some of the most Congress people that was going hard in the paint for these illegal immigrants.
Yep.
Are part of the Congressional Black Caucus.
Hey, brother, can you repeat that book again a little louder? Maybe get a little closer to the microphone. They want to know the name of that book again.
The name of the book is The Man Not by Dr. Tommy Curry.
The Man Not by Dr. Tommy Curry. You're welcome, sister. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Peace and power. You know, I'm sorry. You can go back to what you were saying. I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
No, it's all good. No, what I was saying was some of the hardest people going in the paint for these illegal immigrants were members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
Do you hear that? I mean, come on. Why do we even have a Black Caucus? I mean, I'm serious. If you was to meet a member of the Black Caucus, you ask them, what policies and sense of directions do you have for the Black diaspora in the United States of America? And you'll probably just get a blank stare like, you want me to show you that I know how to, crack a joke? You know, we don't need jokes. We don't need playtime with our so-called political leaders. We actually need some sort of tangible manifestation. We need to see something manifest in the 3D realm that benefits us collectively. And even if it boils down, go ahead.
As a citizen of the United States of America, you are entitled to tangibles of this country. You are entitled to that just by being a citizen.
See, but they don't want you to believe that. You know how many brothers and sisters died on the field of battle, hoping and praying, not for you to get into debt, not for you to be redlined, not for you to be shot when you're trying to get out your little ID, not for you to have to protest the brutal murder of some unarmed person. No, they died hoping that the United States will recognize their sacrifice as they were all in for this great experiment in liberty and justice that we so commonly refer to as the United States. And all we're talking about is participation, because we're already participating, but we want to get credit and acknowledgement for our participation and also for our collective exclusion from the American dream. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about this one made it, that one make it. Look at these little black colleges over here. Look at this one black business that actually has maybe 20 or 40, 100 people working for it. Because most black businesses, believe it or not, and you check this numbers on this one, are the number of employees is a big fat one. It's that one dude. Most black businesses.
Name a corporation that's owned by a black man. ADOS black man.
That's all you're gonna get. You know, that's like me saying, hey, if I add 0 plus 0, what do I get? 1 through 10. What would I get 1 through 10 if I add 0 plus 0?
You don't get a 0.
Exactly. You will never get a number 1 through 10. And you know, I got a screen right now. On the screen, you see the picture of St. Louis, Missouri. All right. You see the TPIM SR Live logo, and then you see TPIM SR Live. All those buildings you see in there, not damn buildings owned by a black man or a black woman. Oh, brother Aboriginal, FUBU. FUBU is black owned corporation.
And when's the last time you walked in the store and you seen that shit?
Oh, again, there's a lag there. But I mean, FUBU is still a fairly popular brand. I mean, you don't see them in the NBA. You know, you don't see no Jordan FUBU, which that would be so tight if you did see a Jordan FUBU or a Shaq FUBU. I mean, even though I know they don't play any longer, but that would have been tight back in the day when FUBU came out. They would have supported that. But you know what? Nike pays too much. Nike pays way too much. You know, you'd be like, well, FUBU's talking about 10 grand. I'm talking about 10 million, boy. And when someone says they're going to give you 10 million followed by boy, you're going to say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you're going to get that 10 million, and then you're going to front on us.
And if you don't say yes, sir, they're just going to take it from you anyway.
And give it to someone who will. And that's what's so disgusting about this. I saw this reenactment. There's a lady up in Virginia, and I'm not going to say nothing bad about her. I'm not going to belittle her, berate her as a person, as a human being. But she walks around, I think Jefferson's plantation up there as a slave, and trying to get these old stories as being a damn slave. You know, it was the March of November, and Master came back from the hunt, and I had to skin the giblets and cut the kiblets and put those bits in the pot. Oh my God, man! I cannot begin to tell just how negatively that is. You know, that affects me negatively. Now, people can like that type of shit, but I don't like black folks, at least for a paycheck, demeaning themselves, you know, getting in the Aunt Jemima costume and running around. Me's about, you know, it reminds me of a sick ass version of a minstrel show. Like instead of white dudes getting in blackface, they'll just find a black person to play the role that they want to see the black person play. And they'll pay you a couple of dollars, and you'll do it with a big old shoe shine smile and a Yowza Boss jump in your fucking heel. You know, how come?
That's why you don't see.
Go ahead.
That's why you don't see images of strong black men on the idiot box.
But even if you do, they're sexualized strong black men. Like obviously the Old Spice commercial, you can obviously see the brother is swole. Physically, he know he can kick some ass, but psychologically, he's a lunchbox. He's a sandwich in the brain. He's not even a caricature of a decent human being. He's a lunchbox person. And now that I'm thinking about more of these commercials in my head, when I see a melanated person, they're always typecast in either a buffoon or a willful idiot.
Yeah.
And that's all you get. You know, you can flex your pecs, but you can't flex your economic might. Because if you say something against the small hats, I know why you'll never hear Ofer talk nothing about a Jew. I understand why you won't hear those rappers talk about Jews or anything like that. Because you talk about the hand that feeds you, fool, you're going to get smacked. And guess what? You're going to be down there in the hood again with nothing. Except for you'll be a little less because everybody's going to look down on you and talk smack on you because you know that when you come up, you're going to be acting all high and mighty. But when you fall,
why do you think it's so many documentaries about R. Kelly and the shenanigans he did, but it ain't no documentaries about Harvey Weinstein
or Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah,
that's about anything, because the Jews understand one thing, and let's get this clear, and let's have group for a minute, everybody. Let's have group. Jeffrey Epstein belongs to a society called the Jewish Society. The Jews understand because they were taught a very harsh lesson around this time last century that if you allowed the media, the papers, the print of any sort to character assassinate your people collectively, not individual, not like there's a bad a bad Jew, just one bad Jew. No, all Jews are bad. You allow that type of propaganda to go on, it's only a matter of time before you're marching down to the gallows in a pack. We don't understand that as Black people. We have never had this conversation. I've never seen one, except for on this show, obviously. But I've never seen one in a Travis Smiley or the Breakfast Club or
And
you're not, because the small hats run that. See, the small hats use us for genocide shield. Black folks in America are the white Jews in America genocide shields, because they know once the angry poor white man rises up and starts slaughtering Black people, wholesale in the streets, the white Jew will have enough time to get the hell out of Dodge with their, diamonds and gold and merchandise that they haven't sold yet. They'll get the fuck out while we're being annihilated.
First, you're going to have to get the poor white man off of the neck first.
Wow. Or off that needle. Yeah. But let's not give them no ideals. Stay on if you're a hating, racist white male, keep doing what you're doing, man. Hopefully you change your ways and you realize you do have a place in humanity as well. When the aliens attack, laugh at me as you will. When the aliens attack, we're going to need every bipedal, mammal-looking human in the fight. We really are. But because we want to basically be annihilated and enslave one another, I guess those chickens will come home to roost as well, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't so, but unfortunately, it appears that's our trajectory as a species, because we're unwilling to accept new data or new information in the game of overall knowledge. And overall knowledge is the only way for one to truly find self. And if you don't find self, then you're going to find misery and despair. And you're going to find inappropriate behavior and horrible mistakes. Do some self-repair, folks. Every last one of us here in this show, whether you're Black, white, don't forget those peasants in Europe had some situations too. All the criminals that were sent to Australia and the Americas, you do understand the majority of white folks that came to these United States were actual criminals. I mean, they were probably pedophiles, they were murderers, they were criminals, they were backstabbers, they were liars, they were fraud, the whole gambit. And if criminality is in the blood, then think about what's in the blood around you. What's up, H? Welcome to the show. Peace and power, my friend. We got to understand, we can't allow these. Once we can self-repair ourselves in the United States, and guess what? Then we can start helping out people in Africa, helping out people in the Caribbean, helping out people in the Pacific Islands. We got brothers and sisters out that way, helping out brothers and sisters down there in Australia, helping out brothers and sisters in Europe, helping out brothers and sisters in Asia as well. Because if we cannot help ourselves and stand on our own with resources given to us, because once again, does anyone remember when the state of Oklahoma became the state of Oklahoma? They allowed the settlers to rush in and get claims, and those lands were passed down. Some people got hundreds of thousands of acres. They claimed that. Black folks never had that bonanza run. We never had been, okay, Dimebag, you and True line up. When I say go, whatever you guys grab, that's y'all's land. In fact, we had the exact opposite. We'll go out there and fight and find or something, and some night riders come through, kill us, and then it all disintegrates. We had the exact opposite of land given to us. We'd have had it systematically taken away and then given at very low cost to the dominant society. We have to have a serious conversation, folks. We have to do self-repair. I'm telling you. And if you think that you're not a damaged person, and I don't care who you are, if you think you're not a damaged person by the system in which we're living in, then you really do need to do some soul searching. You really need to consider you're a traitor to humanity. If you're not about reparations, you're a traitor to humanity.
They have literally just mentally fucked us up in this country.
Big time. Big time. And it's by design. This isn't an accident. This isn't an accident.
The dysfunction is just something that will probably never ever be duplicated ever again.
Hold on. While I got you on the line, I want to do one thing so everybody sees. And this is the real thing. And then on this, we'll wrap it up because I know we're past my normal hour. Hold on. U.S. debt clock. I like doing this. So everybody, if you want to follow along in your Google, open up a Google browser, turn to U.S. debt clock, click the link, and we'll see what this verse says. Because nowadays, you might as well look at Google as the arbiter of truth. Okay, right now as we sit, February 4th, 2020, the year of our Lord, 23,255,453,000, and it's just jumping from there. If you are a citizen in the United States, whether you're brand new born just now or you're on hospice, you owe $70,630, every one of us, to pay off this debt. If you're a working man, or a working woman, and I mean a person who will actually be able to pay, you need to come up with $188,054 or $54. $188,054. All the working men and women pay that, and we cover our collective tab. Dude, we're not paying back just $23 trillion. And the way after the United States had the altercation with Iraq, or not Iraq, but Iran, and all the young boys went on the internet. I'm not going for a draft. Oh my God, I ain't going for a draft. I put in question, realistically, our military prowess in the next few decades, because there's an erosion of that fighting spirit. Okay. So when the repo man comes for the 23 trillion or plus, all right, who's going to defend you from them? It ain't going to be those beta male boys, running around with the oily chest. Oh, I'm buffalo, but I don't have no guns. I don't have no weapons. I don't have no land. I'm living up on chick. No, I don't see those guys really protecting you. I see them trying to cut the deals with the new dominant dudes. Can I be your latrine boy boss? Can I dig your ditches so you guys can shit in it? I see them doing moves like that for self-preservation.
Oh, you know it.
So you keep on effeminizing the boys, thinking that's cool, coddling the young men, thinking that's where it's at. And when it's time to fight and you realize your boys, they can dance, they can sing, they can cry, they can do everything except for have a period. You're going to wish you had some boys who were about the business of defending society. You're going to wish that. Because I already see, Dimebag, what we talk about now, we're almost talking to like a dying horse, that's been worked the fuck to death. We're telling that horse, if you just make it, you might be able to get over there to those green pastures and have a little dignity, a little victory. But that horse is still trying to put its head in the blinder, so it doesn't see the real situation. It's time to be real with ourselves, and it's time to start the process of self-healing. You got anything else to say, Dimebag?
No, man.
Well,
I hope everybody just try to have a good, prosperous life, man. As an adult male in this country, and I'm speaking to all the males, all we got is ourselves. We don't have any allies. So we got to get right with us as a group.
Right on. Now tell everybody where they can catch you out on social media, man.
Oh, the stuff that I had to change the name of the channel for legal purposes. I wasn't being sued or anything like that because nobody actually owned that name. But I had to tell it's now Truth Be Told TV. You can find me on Facebook at Truth Be Told TV, and then that's where you'll see all the shenanigans that I do. You can see it right over there.
And you still rolling random BS? Now, don't you have a random BS channel?
Yeah, but that's just my backup channel in case the powers that be take me down.
I got you. I recently went to iStar Vids. That's TPIM's backup channel along with Patreon. Those who actually participate on Patreon, there's some videos up there that's not, I will always keep those videos on Patreon, typically, unless they're the music thing. But some of those videos are exclusively on Patreon. You can join Patreon for as little as $1 or as much as 10 grand. I have a 10 grand line. but I just want to say thank you, Dimebag, for joining us. Thank you for sharing your unique thoughts and opinions and views and the truth, more importantly, with the people. All right.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me on, man.
Right on. Hold tight. Hold on. Well, this concludes TPIM. That's our live for today. Today's date is February 4th, 2020, the year of our Lord. I'd like to thank the viewers, the listeners, the supporters, the mods, the ones who comment, even the agents who just monitors the show. I like to thank you all because, once again, I think as time goes, you have seen that we are, on this show anyhow, we're ultimately about humanity, but we're also about self-repairing Black folks in the United States of America and the world, because this racism has been a worldwide phenomenon deployed by people who want an economic advantage, and that's wrong. So, as always, hold on. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing before I go. I don't block trolls. Trolls block me.
I don't block trolls. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I will say it like this. I don't personally block anybody. I put trust in the mod staff. The moderators around here are very, I guess, protective of the show. They're very protective of the spirit of the show. And if you find yourself blocked, I'm telling you, it's not because you came with anything good. I can pretty much bet you came with something ridiculous, and it was some troll type stuff. And these mods over here, since they're critically think, they spotted you and neutralized you. Now you can still listen to the program, and hopefully you'll change your ways and make another account and actually sub to the channel and start contributing. Because you know what? One thing I will say, some of the best trolls out there are some of the most brilliant minds. They have some of the most brilliant minds. Now, some of them are just dumbasses, but some of them are really brilliant.
Some of your most faithful watchers too.
Exactly. And I would like to, thank you for the numbers, because on this show we get paid for the commercials. It's cool. So that being said, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. As always, brothers and sisters, please, 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 let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect, liberation. I'm out.